name is Ian, and I am the singing budgeter, and I am so excited to start this journey with all of you. So, a little bit about myself. I'm a singer-actor here in Orlando, Florida, and up until a couple of years ago, I wasn't the greatest with my money. I never really learned the ins and outs of budgeting and being fiscally responsible, and because of that, I spent a lot of money and I racked up a lot of debt. So it took the pandemic really to make me realize that I had to take my finances a lot more seriously than I had been. And so I turned to YouTube and I found a fantastic community of budgeters that showed me the ropes and taught me everything that I know. And since then, I have paid off over $65,000 worth of debt, which is just, oh my God, crazy to think about. But I still have a long way to go. As you know, student loan payments are kicking back in October, and so I really have to get serious because I owe a little over $56,000 in student loans. And so what I plan on doing on this channel is to kind of show you my take on how I budget. And because I'm the singing budgeter as well, I would love to provide some entertainment for all of you. I'm so glad we have this time together. So I'll occasionally throw in a video here and there of me singing, and I hope you enjoy it. So if you want to come along on my journey to becoming debt-free, and if you like some music, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. You know, it's going to be a really fun experience, and I can't wait to start. So let's begin. Here is my monthly budget, and as you can see, I primarily use numbers on my Mac to do my budgeting. Now, you can totally use Excel or pen and paper in a notebook if that's what you prefer, but for me, this just keeps me more organized, and so I prefer this method for my budgeting, and so that's what I'm going to use. Now, how I approach my budgeting every month is a zero-based budget. Now, what that means is that every dollar I make is allocated and used every month. So I have my budget that I set out for the month, and then if there's anything extra left over, what I'm doing currently is paying off my debt. So when I'm creating my budget for the month, I first like to make a calendar that shows when my expenses are being taken out of my bank account. So if you look over here at my calendar, you'll see that I've broken it up into several categories. The first category, which are my debts, are in blue. The second category, which are my controllable debts, are in gray. And finally, my third category, which is green, are my investments. Now, along with those categories, I also have my paydays listed. And as you can see, I am paid weekly by my full-time employment. So I lay out everything that I have on my calendar, and it gives me an idea of when in the month these expenses will be taken out and how to budget on a weekly basis for them, which is what we're going to be going to now. So let's head on over to my monthly budget. So as you can see, my monthly budget is laid out with my income at the top, which includes my full-time job and some of my side hustles, as well as a cash back that I will be receiving from my Bank of America credit card. And I'll get into that a little bit more later, but following my income are my debts and expenses, and that is broken up into a few different categories. So the first category is debt, second is bills, followed by my cash envelopes that I will be stuffing, and finally are my sinking funds, which I will also be stuffing. After my debts and expenses come my investments, and then at the very bottom, everything is tallied up, and anything that I've made over what I've budgeted will go straight into my debt. And as I said earlier, since the pandemic, I've paid off over $65,000 worth of debt, which I'm still even shocked happened. But I have two final debts beside my mortgage left to go. Those debts are my Bank of America credit card and my student loans. And how I approached my debt payoff was with the snowball method. And so for the month of August, any extra money left over will go straight into paying off my credit card, which is next on that list. Okay, so let's start filling out some numbers. So when we look at my budget for the month of August, as I said before, I'm paid weekly by my full-time job. And I work 40 hours a week, so I pretty much expect to get the same paycheck every week. There are opportunities for me to make overtime or some extra money, but I never want to budget anything over what I normally get just because I don't want to ever expect that to happen. So this is a 5 paycheck month, which is awesome. So I'm expecting to get $4,619.20. And then, as I said before, I have side hustles. And so one of them is that I sing with a church choir every month, and we are paid the month after. So the month of August is actually going to be for everything that I did in July. So I'm expecting to get $450 from church choir. I maybe budget a little bit differently than some people. I do use my credit card to pay for expenses, but nothing debt related. But I use that credit card and then I reimburse myself using my cash envelopes. And the reason why I do that is I receive 1% or 2% or even 3% cash back when I use the credit card. And so I want to try to take advantage of that. And as long as I pay that off every month, then I see no problem using it. Now, I do have some extra money on my credit card, and that's part of the debt that I am paying off. But usually it has nothing to do with anything that I spend during the months currently. This is from previous expenses that built up over time. And now that I'm on a better debt-free journey, I'm definitely paying off my expenses every month through this method. So for the month of August, I am expecting to get $53.15 back for cash back, which I think is great. So I have a few other things that I'm expecting for the month of August for income, and so I am going to be budgeting for that as well. Along with my full-time job in church choir and my cash back, I also had a recording session back in July, and I'll be receiving the money sometime in August, so I want to budget for that. So let me put that in. So recording session. And so I am expecting to get $1,170 from that recording session. So I'm going to put that into my budget for the month. And then I also had a church choir recording session last month, and so I'm going to be putting that in as well. So for that one, I'm expecting to get $100. So those are my income sources for the month of August. Now, I do get paid weekly, and what I do is I budget my paycheck to pay for the following week's expenses. And so while you can think of a month as going from the first of the month to the end of the month, really when it comes to paycheck, since I'm being paid every Thursday, I have to think of it as my very first paycheck of the month is actually going to start on August, let me check it on the calendar, August 3rd, and then my last paycheck will be from the 31st all the way until the 6th of September. So I take the weekly paycheck and I fund any of the bills and things that I have for the upcoming week. And so I need to account for that in my budget. There are some things income-wise that I'm going to be receiving in the beginning of September that I also need to put towards my August 2023 budget. And as I said before, I sing with the church choir, and I will be able to get my pay from the church choir that very first week of September, so I do need to budget for that as well. And so for the month of August, I'm actually expecting to get $360 from church choir. And then I also need to kind of estimate what Bank of America cash back I'll be receiving in September, because I usually receive that in the first couple days of the month, which is within this pay period. So let me put that in as well. And so it usually is pretty similar from month to month. So I usually budget right around $35 for it. And it can be a little higher, a little lower, but it's usually around that number. So those are the two things that I need to make sure that I budget for September. And now let's look into my debts and expenses for the upcoming month of August. All right, so when we talk about my mortgage and my escrow, it is actually going to be funded for August from my last July paycheck. So I'm going to reverse it and actually put down my mortgage and escrow for the month of September, because that is going to be covered by my final paycheck of the month. And so that is going to be $1,552.26. And that is taken out on the first of every month. And then my Bank of America credit card is taken out on the 17th of every month. And the minimum payment is $92. But as I said, any extra money that I have at the end of the month will go straight into that Bank of America credit card. So those are my debts. Okay, so now let's look at my bills. And as I said before, because the month of August for me specifically starts on the 3rd, while I do have bills that are due on the 1st and 2nd of the month, those are going to be covered by my previous month's last paycheck. And so I'm going to start with what is due on the 3rd, which is going to be the day that I receive my first paycheck of August. And then my last paycheck of August actually runs through September 6th. So that is going to cover the expenses for basically the first week of September as well. So let's start with my water bill. And my water bill is going to be a little high this month. It is $160.39. And the reason for that is the water company made a mistake and didn't charge me enough the previous month and are now making up for that. So I have a little bit of a dispute with them, and so hopefully we can clear that up. But for now, I'm going to budget $160.39 for my water bill. All right, and next we have the appliance service packages for my microwave, stove, and dishwasher. I bought a house, a brand new one, new build, back in August of 2022, and it came with a brand new microwave, stove, and dishwasher. So I decided to buy an extended warranty for the 3 appliances, and how it works is I pay between $5 to $6 a month per appliance, and there's no time frame on the service package. It's just for as long as I want to pay it monthly, I still have the extended warranty. So I think that's a really good deal. And when I decide to get a new microwave, stove, or dishwasher, then I will look for maybe a new extended warranty through their manufacturer at the time. But I'm very happy with what I have so far. And so for my microwave, I pay $5.34 a month. For my stove, I pay $5.34 a month as well. And then my dishwasher, I pay $6.41. All right, and then we have the HOA, and I budget $8 a month for that. Next, we have Paramount Plus, which is $6.80. And then Wow Presents Plus is $5.37 per month. And then similarly to my appliance service packages, I have Apple Care Plus for my phone, and I pay a monthly fee to have Apple Care Plus, and it's not a time-framed plan. It's just for however long I want to pay it, which I think is a nice deal until I get a new phone. So I pay $9.99 a month for that Apple Care Plus. And then we have iCloud storage, because everyone needs iCloud storage. I pay $10.69 a month for that. Then we have internet, which I pay $54.99 a month. And then we have Amazon Prime, $15.09 a month. Netflix, $16.71. Sirius XM, we pay $26.15. And then I get a monthly massage, which I think is something that everybody should do. I just definitely recommend having a massage. So I pay a monthly fee of $64.95 to get a massage. All right, and so those are going to be my expenses for the month of August. But as I said, that last paycheck of August is actually going to be covering basically the first week of September as well. So I'm going to need to pay for those expenses for the first week of September. So on the first of the month, Apple TV Plus is due, and that is $7.52. And then I have a Patreon that I follow for $5 a month. So my electric bill for August is actually going to be paid by the last week's paycheck in July. So I have to kind of budget what I think is going to be the electric bill for the month of September. And so because it's the summer, I expect it to be a little bit higher. So I'm budgeting $150 for my electric bill, and we will adjust it once I actually receive that bill. And then now we're going to start repeating a few of the bills that we paid earlier in the month. So now we have the water bill for September. And since I don't know that amount as well, I'm going to budget what is usually the water bill amount, and that's around $100. So I'm going to budget that for September. And then we have our appliance service packages again at $534, and $641. And then we have the HOA again at $8 and Paramount Plus at $6.80. All right, so those are my bills. Let's move on to my cash envelopes that I'll be stuffing. And so I have a few different cash envelopes. Groceries, eating out, car, which is maintenance and gas and tolls, and then some fun money that I can spend on whatever I want, and then miscellaneous for things that I just need outside of those envelopes. I will use that envelope for that. So for the month of August, I'm going to be budgeting $400 for my groceries. And then for eating out, I'm also going to budget $400. And then for my car, so this month I also have my car insurance that is due, and I pay that in a 6-month chunk. So I'm going to factor that into my envelope as well, along with the gas and tolls. So that is going to be $750 for the month. And then for fun money, I am going to be budgeting $200. And then miscellaneous, I am going to budget $200 as well. Now, as we said before, the last paycheck is going to cover September, so I need to fund my envelopes for the first week of September. So let's put those in. Okay, so I'm going to be doing $100 for groceries, $100 for eating out, and then car is going to be $50, and then fun money is going to be $50, and miscellaneous is also going to be $50. And I'll do the cash stuffing for these envelopes in another video. All right, so let's move down to the sinking funds. And so I have a few sinking funds. I have a car, which again goes towards maintenance, insurance, anything that happens to the car. And then as well as maybe even saving up for a new car. And then I have medical, which thankfully a lot of my medical coverage is paid for through my insurance, through my full-time job. But if anything else comes up, it is an 80-20 plan. So after my deductible, I am still responsible for 20%. So medical will cover anything related to that. And then we have home, anything that has to do with the home, a new roof, anything that goes wrong with plumbing or electrical or anything like that. I definitely want to have a sinking fund for the home. And then I have a kids investment fund. So my sister has 3 children, 2 nieces and a nephew. And instead of giving them birthday gifts and Christmas gifts every year, instead I take a certain amount of money and I fund an investment account for them that they'll take control over when they turn 25. And so I pay for putting money into their investment account twice a year, $50 for each kid for their birthdays and $50 per kid for Christmas. And so I've set up a sinking fund to fund that so that when the time comes to put the money in, I have that money available. And then next is an emergency fund. And finally, taxes. As I said, I do have a full-time job, but I also have a bunch of side hustles. And I want to make sure that my 1099 work is covered by my taxes. And so I want to make sure that I have a fund to pay for that when the time comes. All right, so let's fund these. So for the month of August, I'm going to do $100 for my car, $100 for medical, $100 for home, $30 for the kids' investment funds, $100 for emergency, and $100 for taxes. All right, and so those are my sinking funds. Now let's move on to investing. So part of my full-time job, I do have a certain percentage of my paycheck that is automatically taken at the beginning of every month and immediately invested into a 401k, which I never see, which is great. It's out of sight, out of mind, and I'm investing in that, which is awesome. But on top of that, I also have a brokerage account and a Roth IRA. And then every Friday, I transfer $10 to my high interest savings account as well. So my brokerage account is usually funded on the first of every month. So that is going to be taken care of by my last week's paycheck in July. So I'm going to be funding my September brokerage investment. And that is going to be $150. And then for my Roth IRA, that is due on the 31st of every month. And I put $100 a month currently into my Roth IRA every month. I'll do another video here soon about my investing and how I allocate that money in my Roth IRA and in my brokerage account and in my 401k. So look forward to that coming up here soon. Oh, I almost forgot about my online savings account. So I do $40 for this month because there are 4 Fridays in the month of August. But then I also have a Friday in the month of September, so I need to put that in there as well. All right, so that'll be $10, and that is going to be due on Fridays. Great. All right, so that is all of my budgeting for the month of August. So let's take a look at the numbers. So when you look at my income, after everything's said and done, I'll be making $6,787.35. And then when we take out all the different bills and expenses and envelopes and sinking funds and investing, I'll be left with about $1,322.46. And so that money will be going straight into paying off my credit card. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to the next video where I'll be budgeting my very first paycheck of the month, as well as cash stuffing that. So I hope to see you guys then. Until then, take care.